Okay, so this should be a very quick video about adding a post to either of the sites, because both the sites use the same method. So you can do that. I've logged in now. Now you do have an account, and you should have had an email about it. With all these things, I try not to get involved in passwords, so the system will have prompted you to create a password. If not, give me a shout, and I can talk you through getting it reset. Yeah, I don't like to touch passwords in general for somebody else. It's not good practice. This is the dashboard where you come to when you get onto the back end when you've logged in. It looks quite heavy now. This is my dashboard. I've set your account as an editor, so you should be able to do most things you need to do. So you'll be able to edit posts and pages of yourself and anyone else as well. So you should be able to do anything you need to do. If you wanted to add other people, I can make you an admin, or I can add them for you. It's not a good idea to have lots of admins. Yeah, so but we can do that. The place where you need to go to is near the top here, called Posts. If we click on Posts, I'll get the current post we've got there now. You'll see the post we did before. I've made it so it looks like you created it. That's a very simple thing to do. I've got one that's in the middle here that's got the word draft on it. So the one on the top there, no one can see it because it's not published. The one on the bottom, you can see it was published back in November. If I want to create a new one, strangely enough, I click on Add New at the top here. So I click on Add New. That's going to create the post with all the blank details in. The important bits to put in. So I'm just going to do a title. Now the title, when I click on Save Draft or Publish This, the title will also become the address. So it'll be Rhomech Rigging / the hire process. So you need to think about that when you're creating a title, or if you can later on, you can edit the address to make it more relevant, more search engine friendly. The blog is set up now, so I've got a box here which we call the text editor, and you can see a lot of the stuff that you see there. The address is just populated. That was an auto save happen there. A lot of the stuff you've seen probably in Word and stuff. The different things you haven't seen, maybe the link system, adding links to stuff, and this insert read more text. I'll cover those very quickly. So instead of writing an address or copying an address for something in the actual text itself, you would use either an action for something to do, click here, read more here, check out their website here, or you would use a terminology. So I don't know, if you wanted a link to something that was maybe an article somewhere, you'd use the title of the article or something. You very, very rarely want to use the actual address in the text. If you click and highlight what you want to become the button or the link and click on Insert Link, you can paste the address into here, or if you want to, you can use this box here will also try and find pages within your site. You can also as well click the more there. I'll just show you that again because you might have lost that. If I highlight that, click on the link button, that will apply it. This one gives you more options. So you can put the address in there. You can make it open in a new tab so people aren't taken away from your site, or you can click and link to something. So for example, if you were talking about you're changing your deployment bag, you could link to a product, a deployment, or if you change it, you could link to a slide. If you're doing a slide stuff, so you can add a link to your products in here if you want to. You can basically link to anything. Now this is where you would put the text if you were just doing a text blog. And what I mean by that is, you're just writing stuff, maybe a few block quotes and links to stuff, this is what I'd use. This is all the functionality you need. So all your text would go in here, and that would be you done. You then publish after doing the next, I suppose, two most important things. One of the next things you do is add the category, and they're on the side here. So this is we called this the hire process. None of those two categories really fit the blog I'm doing, so I'm going to add a new category. So that one's gone to there. So anything I now do about equipment hire, I'll put it to the same one. And I can have subcategories as well. What I would do when you're first starting this is have as few categories as possible. The worst thing you can do is end up with more categories than posts, so have as few as possible. So that's important thing number one. Important thing number two is this featured image here. Now what this does is wherever I have a I'll do this thing. Wherever I have shared this post, or this post is being displayed somewhere else on the site, if I've said display the image, this is where the image comes from, the featured image here. Not you don't need to put images in this post here, in this box here. This is where you'd put the image. So for example, I click on set featured image. I can either pick an image that I've already got, or I can upload files and upload an image from my computer. I'll cancel that. I've seen an image I like, so I go set featured image, media library for stuff I've already got. There's one there. I'll use that one. The problem with this one is this one's relatively it's a square image, and I don't want to use a square image because the theme lends itself to landscape images. So I'm going to upload a new image. And totally irrelevant image, but hey. There's the image there. This is a landscape image, set featured image. It'll load into here, and that's it. So with your title, the text, a category set, and a featured image, you're ready to go. So if you're doing just text, you don't need to go watch any further. If you're doing slightly more than text, there is a slightly more advanced way you can add stuff. So for example, in the future, I know you were talking about being a bit more technical with it. You can be a bit more technical with the blog post, and this I'll show you now. So if I go into what's called the back-end editor, you'll see the text editor box changes. If I go back to classic, I'll show you that. So this is where my stuff was. If I click back-end editor, and this is something called Visual Composer, so it means you can kind of put pre-formatted blocks into here, and it makes the whole thing look more visually appealing. You can also add different columns. So for example, there's that stuff I put there in basically a text block. If I click on plus here, it gives me a load of other more things that I can put in that are kind of pre-formatted elements. I would probably just put a row in to start with, which I can then, using this button here, go to 2 columns, 2/3, 1/3, a 3-column box there. That's split to 3 columns. On the left here, for example, I could put a paragraph with an icon in it, some social icons. I could put a product. I could put a single product in there that I wanted to as well. One of the things I'm selling, or maybe something I'm talking about, I put in there. I can put a pie chart in there. I'll click on that. That'll add it. This is asking me what the pie chart style is. This is asking me what the percentage is, the color, the blur, bits and pieces. This is basically me making a pie chart. Okay, very, very simple. And here I can put, you can put basically any of these things here and add them to it. So a pricing table, I could put a pricing table in here. All the bits and pieces you'd want for a pricing table. So I click on save changes there. You can put anything there, and it basically means that you can instead of just writing text, you can add a lot more detail to it. If I click on Save Draft, that'll show you what the page would look like. Yeah, so that's saved. I'll click on Preview. That's going to show me what this stuff looks like. So I've added bits and pieces there. Okay, so a bit more example of the kind of thing you can do. Right. That would be as done. When you're happy with it, you'd click Publish. You can, if you also want to, you can edit here and put it to the future, so it won't be live till say tomorrow or the next day or that kind of stuff. Click on OK. You can also as well, at the moment, if I just show you now, if I click Publish, the status of this post will change from draft to published, and this will be live on the site now. If I've made an accident, I can click on Edit. I can change it back to draft, click on OK, update that, and then it disappears from the site, but obviously stays in the back end. Yeah, that's editing post, and that same thing, the process with this classic mode and back end mode is the same for the reserve repack one as well. There you go, simple.